Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Woolly Thistle Shopcast. I'm your host Corinne with my co-host Maggie.
Hi.
And we are here to talk about all things woolly and wonderful here at the Woolly Thistle. And yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
I'm doing good, yeah.
It's Monday morning as we're recording this, so
Yeah.
did you have a nice weekend?
I did. We spent some time shopping for those last minute things to send our college kids.
You have two of them going off to college.
So as you're watching this, I should be loading my kid number 1 to go off to school. So
Yeah.
we're feeling a lot of feelings at our house. But it's good. Like there's a huge dose of like excitement for him, and he's ready to go off.
Yeah,
so.
that's kid number 2.
That's kid
so
number
he's
2.
starting college.
Yeah, so this will be his freshman year. So he leaves on Friday. He'll only be about an hour away, which is absolutely delightful.
Yeah.
And then my daughter will leave on Sunday.
Okay. And she's old hat at doing this now.
Yeah, and she's so excited. Her and her roommate are absolutely adorable. It's so good. It's exactly what we wanted for her. She found a roommate that is like her best bud.
Oh, so
it's
good.
Great.
Yeah.
So she'll leave on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah, so Maggie will just give you what you need in terms of support all week. Yes.
So it'll be good. I think too, like once, transitions can be hard. I think once things are settled, it'll be fine. I'm expecting them both to do well.
And then you'll have one left at home.
Yes, she's going to get so much attention. She's going to be delighted.
She must be really excited.
Yeah, I think she's feeling some things too.
Yeah, she likes her
houses.
big brother and sister.
She does. So it's some big transitions at our house right now. Mm-hmm. So thankfully I have knitting.
Yes, thank gosh.
To keep me company.
Yep.
So
that's good. And work to keep you busy.
Yeah, there's plenty to keep me busy.
Yeah, there's always lots going on for sure. So my kids start back to high school. Tel is starting high school at the end of August, which will be a shock to his very relaxed system, I think. Yeah. But he's already playing soccer for the school, so he is getting to know kids, which is really good. Because we're the last school to matriculate into that high school system.
Yeah.
Maya's going to be a senior, which is wild.
That is wild.
Mm-hmm. Having those difficult one-sided college conversations right now with myself.
It's okay. Just keep talking. They're listening.
Yeah, I think it must be just so overwhelming to think about the next, 4 or 5 years like that. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So anyway, how are you doing? Are you keeping well? Did you have a good week? Are you ready that it's Friday? Because this goes out on a Friday.
And it's cast on day.
And it's cast on day for the Sweater KAL. Do you know what you're knitting?
I do. I even know the name of it today.
Shall we just talk about that?
Yeah. So I'll be knitting the building blocks cardigan, which I think I showed you guys the swatch last time.
Yes.
Using Mota. I'm using WoolDreamers Mota in the natural gray color.
It's so lovely. It's very warm gray.
I'm wondering if I tossed my swatch back in my bag. It might be at home, but I measured it and my gauge is right on track. So
and what are you knitting? Did you tell us?
It's the building blocks cardigan by Aimee Sher.
Okay.
And I'm knitting it for my oldest. So she's asked for a sweater.
So when she comes home at the holidays, she'll have a sweater?
Yeah, if it's done before, I'm betting that it'll probably take me most of the KAL to knit it.
Yeah.
So I'll be working on that. So I think she's due to come home in October. Either that or there's parents' weekend in October. So either way, I'm expecting we'll see her sometime in October.
Nice.
And my goal is hopefully to have it done, to hand it to her and be good there.
Awesome.
So
awesome. We will get to introducing the rest of the show in a minute.
We will.
But we're just wanting to talk about woolly stuff.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what I'm knitting?
Yes.
I decided this weekend. I did not know what I wanted to knit, and then a light bulb went off because I remembered a sweater I saw in a book that I want to knit. I mean, there's so many.
Right, there's so many.
But I remember this one in particular from Kate Davies's All Over book, which is such a pretty cover. Those colors.
I know.
And in here is this one. Isn't that pretty?
That is so pretty.
I remember at the time going, I want to knit that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what though? I'm going to knit it in Jamieson Smith, and I'm going to change colors. So I'm going to make it multicolored because this is just stripes with the opposite color as your motif.
Right.
And I think I can do it changing colors, which will make it really fun.
Yeah.
I don't know how bright or how neutral or how muted it's going to be yet because I haven't decided, but I think it's going to be a stash buster of sorts.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I got enough Jamieson Smith to do that.
Right.
Yeah, so what do you think?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, me too. It's lovely, and it looks like a nice relaxed fit.
Do you know what color you might use, like as a background?
Yeah, I'm thinking a Murrick kind of color, you know, brown, something like that. That's you know, it's nice and soft, but it's not grey because I'm trying to get away from the grey. But yeah, so we have this in stock, and I'm excited. I love this one too, though.
Yeah,
That's
there are a
just
lot of
amazing.
great patterns in this book.
There is, and we're actually doing a little deal right now because her new book came out called Davaar, which is about an island off the coast of Scotland in the Campbelltown area, and so that just came out. We don't even have it yet.
Yeah, it's on pre-order now.
Right, but if you buy this, when you buy that, you're getting a little deal off of this, and that's pretty cool. So I am excited. I am motivated.
So is this one steeked? I'm
Yes.
assuming it's steeked.
Yes, so you steek the front and the armholes, which will be good.
Which makes the colorwork knitting so much easier because
Round and round and round, yeah. It's actually got I think it's a kind of drop shoulder construction on the sleeve, so I'll have steeks going across here, and then I will knit the sleeve on and down. Maybe I'll do it in Rama. I could do it in Rama Fennel Garn too. Maybe
You've got some choices.
I do have some choices, so whatever gets me the colors that I'm happy with. That will be the thing that will be most challenging, is trying to decide on colors.
Yeah.
But I think that's what I want to do.
Have you gone through your stash to pull out any?
Yeah, I have actually since we did the cawing of the knits last month. All my Jamieson Smith is all. I have like that, like in the bins, I've got a little area where it's all just looking at me and I can pick from it. And
you should take a photo of it and see if it all leans more towards do a black and white photo and see if it all leans towards like a medium to a dark.
Yes.
Or if you have a lot of light, because then that could influence your main color.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because if it's all medium, it might be a tricky.
Yes, because that also will likely be medium. Yeah. So I'm excited.
That's exciting.
I hope that you know what you're doing. It's Friday cast on. If you don't yet, but you want to join us, there's still time. You can knit from stash, so long as 80% of the yarn was purchased at the Woolly Thistle at some point. That's like our only real rule, other than it being an adult size sweater. If it's all over colorwork, we're including vests. So a colorwork vest without sleeves is good. So knit with us. We're in Ravelry and we're in our Facebook group, and there's lots and lots of good chatter in those places too.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the schedule, because we haven't introduced anything about this episode. So we're no longer running ads, and we like to tell you that so that you can be like, thank you very much. Because ads are a real pain in the neck when you're watching YouTube. They're everywhere. But we have stopped running them so that you can watch us uninterrupted. Such a treat. And we just ask that you thank us by maybe visiting the shop and checking out what we have in the shop. That would be really great. Pips. We mentioned pips, I think, last time, and I want to make sure we keep mentioning them because we forget about all the good stuff. Would you mind?
Yeah, so pips are our points in progress. They are part of our loyalty program. So every time you shop with us, you earn pips, and then you can redeem pips for a discount off of your next purchase.
Yes.
It's like getting free yarn.
It is, and we love it. People are using it, and it's working really well.
We love it. More importantly, you guys seem to love it. So
yes.
It's great. Yeah.
Yes, so happy about that. Send in your videos for a spot on the show.
Yeah, so in today's show, you'll see some segments from some of our delightful regulars, including Emma and Kelsey, and you'll see some knitting yoga with Kim, but occasionally we have guest contributions from viewers like you. In order to it's not really applying, but in order to
show your interest.
There you go. Show your interest. There's a link on the website, and we can put it in the info box down below, where you can just send in your info and send in your video, and we watch it and preview it, and we get all excited, and we put it in a Shopcast.
we have loved the ones we got so far. We actually have Joanne, who's appeared twice now with different friends. So if you're a friend of Joanne, we'll see you here soon. We've had some really amazing contributions from lovely knitters. So definitely, if you're interested in getting in front of the camera while you're at home in a very safe environment, give it a go, especially if you're thinking of starting your own podcast. And there's a lot of good podcasts out there that are starting, I think. I do want to give a shout out to Christopher. What's his handle? Flannel Purls. He started a podcast, so go check him out. He's doing awesome things.
It's called Flannel Pod.
Flannel Pod is the name of the podcast, and he's just so funny on Instagram.
Yeah, I do feel like there's been a little flurry of like new podcasts popping up.
So maybe then you want to get on that bandwagon. It's really fun to do, and you meet lots of great people. So yes, if you want to give it a try, that's a good excuse to get on our show. Plus, we have a few people that watch, so it gets you some exposure, so that's good too. Anyway.
Yeah, so grab your Woolly Thistle knits and sit down, record a little bit for us, showing us your projects, and you can send us the info through the link on our website. Yeah,
sounds great. And it's not just for people who want to start a podcast. It might just be that you want to share your knits, and that is as good a reason as any.
It could be that you really don't want to start a podcast, but you do want to share your knits.
Yeah.
This is a wonderful community, as you know. It's a wonderful community.
Very supportive,
enthusiastic, and supportive knitters. So.
Yes. And you mentioned
and crocheters
and weavers too, if you want. I mean, I'm still trying to get the weaving going. I've gotten as far as warping it, and then I ran out of steam. Warping takes quite a while. But I need to chain up the treadles to the lambs and make everything work properly, and I'm a little afraid. Okay, so Emma's here today and she's talking about, oh my gosh, what was she talking about? Now I've forgotten.
She's talking about what she's gonna knit for the Sweater KAL.
She's talking about what she's gonna knit for the KAL.
And then a couple of little updates too.
Yeah, really good. And Kelsey, did you watch Kelsey?
I did watch Kelsey's segment. It was wonderful.
It was wonderful. She's gonna educate you all about plies and yarn weights, so really worth a watch. Thanks for all that effort, Kelsey. And knitting yoga with Kim is going to be for your hands, which I really enjoyed. Yes, really good stuff. So, winner from last time, would you like to?
Last time. So every episode, if you're new here, every episode we announce two winners. You win a $25 gift card to the Woolly Thistle, which is our online yarn shop. And in order to be prize eligible, you just have to leave us a comment below. We're pretty loosey-goosey about that. We should probably be more structured, but we're not. This is how we are.
So leave a comment. Give us a thumbs up.
About anything.
And subscribe.
Yeah.
That's it.
And the first winner from the last episode is Ruth McNiff 4765, and Ruth says, trying hard to make my plans for the Sweater KAL. I keep telling myself to pick a simple pattern, yet I keep looking at patterns with more details. That was wonderful of Caitlin to share her success at the fair. I'm always anxious to hear from Rachel and see the photos and videos. Great Shopcast. Thank you so much, Ruth. If you can email us at info@thewoollythistle.com, put prize winner in all caps. That will allow us to spot your email quickly and get you a $25 gift card.
So you can run over and spend it. And you'll get pips.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So that's great. Okay, congratulations, Ruth. And I love your McNiff. I would be McSniff.
That might be her last name.
Well, that's what I changed it to.
But I would totally be McSniff online.
Yeah.
I saw a comment somewhere the other day saying that they thought of us because they were sniffing yarn. It made me so happy.
Yarn sniffers unite.
I think it was in our chat, I was hoping, and they were sniffing WYS, West Yorkshire Spinners, which I heartily approve of.
Yeah.
Neither one of us are wearing anything even remotely woolly.
No, it's actually a little bit cooler today, but no. Yeah. We're in the way of the summer, I think, where we're trying to cool off. Yeah. Nothing.
Yep.
So we could talk about whips, though.
Yes. Do you have any whips?
I do.
Why don't you show your whips?
I do. First of all, do you want to talk about these?
I actually do really want to talk about these.
Okay, so this is actually my FO.
This is an FO, yeah.
This is gorgeous. Irish Heather by Studio Donegal in the Peak colorway. I knitted a swatch because I wanted to add to your swatches.
Yeah, we wanted to swatch up, we have so many beautiful variants, and we wanted to swatch them up so we could see what the knitted fabrics look like and share them with you, and take photos. And so,
I love this peat color. Just love it. Okay, what do you have?
So Grady knit this one for us in the navy colorway.
Yeah, which is really nice.
You're up closer than I am.
Pinky navy.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
Really lovely. Stitches are so even.
Yeah.
I'm very focused on this lately with knitting flat.
You are, aren't you?
I am.
Feels good. And it feels so nice after you give it a wee wash.
It does. It really, I hadn't knit with it before, and it does feel...
It's a little crunchy.
Crunchy.
When you're
crunchy
knitting.
Is probably a good word for it in this skein. But yeah, I was so delighted when you wash it up, and I'm like, ooh, it's really nice. It just really... it's really pretty. A nice heathered
really
natural brown.
Stitch definition.
So good. And these were all knit on size 9 needles,
yes.
which is the gauge that you need for done robin.
That's right.
Yeah.
What do you have
this one,
next?
and then the last one that I have here, this one is knit with the cream.
Which is so good for, say, an Aran sweater with all those cables. That would be, it's such a soft, snowy, soft cream color too. It's lovely, very even.
Can I talk about knitting this one a little bit?
Yeah.
Last week I talked about my knitting flat and rowing out. I think that's what they call it.
Rowing out?
Rowing out, where my stitches are uneven, like purl versus
I've never
knitting.
heard of that. Okay.
I think that's what they call it, is rowing out. I could be wrong. You'll let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. But anyway, but somebody mentioned in the comments of the last episode to look at Norwegian purling, and so I fell down a little rabbit hole and I looked at Norwegian purling online, and so this swatch I actually knit the whole thing with Norwegian purling.
Okay.
And you can look it up if you want to see. It's sort of wild, all the things that your right hand has to do. But you can see like there was a little bit of tension issue up here.
Yeah.
But really the rest of it was pretty even, especially when I compare it to my other one.
Yeah.
Without having to do a lot of extra tugging. Like the stitch itself is just formed without a lot of... I am a continental knitter, and I do find when I purl, I have to give it that extra tug.
To tighten it up.
Doing that, and if I'm not doing it consistently, that's when I get the rolling out.
Do you hold your finger way up high off the needle?
Fairly high. It's not like straight up.
Yeah.
But it's fairly high. But whenever I try to like pull it down and get it closer, it doesn't happen. My finger just goes where my finger wants to go.
Yeah.
You know how that is. Your
I
finger
do.
just goes where your finger wants to go.
You adapt to it.
But this, since so much of it happens in your right hand instead, it was easier, but it's a longer movement, so we'll see if it gets faster. I don't know if I could do it for a whole cardigan.
Yeah.
But it was fascinating, and I'll definitely kind of keep working on that.
You're on your own little odyssey with this.
I am. I'm that type of person too who likes to try little...
Yeah. Is it because you're about to knit a cardigan back and forth?
Yeah, so the last thing I want is to knit a whole cardigan and have the rows be uneven, and...
Yeah. Yeah, that's understandable.
I mean, we could call that a design feature, but it's not. So I just wanted to share that. So thank you to the person who made the suggestion. I'm going to keep trying that because I think I don't knit. I think part of it is that I knit more and more and more just in the round.
Yes, so the purling
the purling is a thing.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
We'll see.
That's true.
But that was a fun experiment and...
Very interesting. And then we've not got swatches yet for these two, but this is a light blue and this is a very pretty darker blue with lots of heathering with lots of colors.
I'll have to check and see if Grady has that one, because I think we gave that one to her to swatch. So
and then the last two colors, I am working on this color for the Dun Robin, but I didn't bring it today. I should have. And then this is an FO color. A charcoal. Yeah. Charcoal, yeah. Actually, I want to show you that because, and it's right here. I want to, because, you know, after it's knitted and washed, just look at how soft and squishy it is. It's lovely. So
it does. It feels really nice.
It does, yeah.
Nice and cozy.
It's going to wear like iron too, I think. You know, it's going to last a long time. So yes, check out the and people are shopping for it, but check out Studio Donegal, because it is lovely, you know, storage yarn from Ireland, and it's lovely. We really
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how many Jen Robins there are during Sweater KAL.
I hope there's some.
I know that there was a number of people saying that they were saving their kits and
yes.
they were going to knit it during the KAL. So
yes, so yes, I'm going to look forward to seeing your progress in the KAL for sure. Yeah. For everybody.
So do you have any other whips that you've been working on? That's okay. No, actually, that's a good...
I actually don't know if I've knitted on this week enough to show progress. Do you remember? Or was I here last time?
Similar, but I think still worth showing.
I'm just loving this. And actually, I was talking to Jill, who is our newest employee. She is our engagement coordinator. So you will find Jill out on all our social media, chit-chatting with people and, you know, keeping the conversation going. Not that we need help with that, but and she was saying that she was maybe going to knit one of 2 or 3 of these different patterns and then frame them.
What a lovely idea.
And I think I might steal that because this is going to be too small and I haven't caught any floats because I was trying to master knitting on DPNs for a start and 4 colors in one row sometimes.
Right.
So I think these might become wall art.
Are you enjoying the DPNs now? Or are you still having...
No, I'm enjoying them. I think my gauge is a little tight and that's probably because I'm pulling it across from the end of one to another. But nothing I can
I think too,
improve on.
I wonder if the 4 colors alone, which is just going to give you less stretch than you'll get with 2 colors.
Yeah, and it's certainly filling up what space there is for your hand in there.
Warm.
So warm. Yeah, and I think as well, if I was wanting to knit these for my hand, I'd probably go up a needle size. These are double zeros, which is what the pattern calls for, which is fine. I'm enjoying, they don't feel too skinny at all to be knitting with, but I think to get my hand in here, I'd want to.
You should, it won't matter since you said you're not worried about wearing it, but it would be interesting to check your gauge now that you
against the pattern.
Against the pattern.
That's a good idea.
I mean, I know the sample that we were sent, it is a fairly snug mitten. Like I have small hands and it does fit. It's quite cozy. I can definitely wear it. But
yeah, it's lovely.
So
well, anyway, so we may still have kits. In fact, I imagine we will still have kits in stock. This just launched, but oh my gosh, you guys are loving these and for good reason. I think it's very reasonably priced for a kit. And yes, you can knit several of them.
And they do. They knit up so pretty. And I think this one sold out.
Is that one sold
already,
out?
But...
and they're coming right from Latvia, which is just amazing. The wool itself is Lithuanian, and they make it. They make just enough for the kit.
Yeah,
that's something actually I should mention is if you go up a needle size, you got to watch your gauge. Got to make sure you're getting gauged so you have enough because I don't think there's too much overage in here.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm enjoying knitting those. So do you have any whips? I've got another one.
I have one whip. So in the run up to the KAL, I was trying to clear some of my needles. So I did finish my Paul clay, which I didn't bring because it was mostly finished.
Right.
Last episode I just had to finish the sleeve and I blocked it, and I'm sure you'll be seeing me wearing it.
Yep. Are you gonna wear it to Rhinebeck?
Fairly soon. If it's cool enough.
Yeah.
Rhinebeck is always
it could be really warm.
Yeah, but especially since my Sweater KAL sweaters for my daughter, so I probably will be wearing my Paul clay.
Right, right.
But I was knitting on the Lindle Torkel for the Junction Fiber Mill. Our neighbors are having their first ever KAL, and it's the Lindle Torkel. And mine is on short needles.
It's gorgeous.
I literally have 2 more rows, but it was so late last night that I was like, I gotta go to bed. So I can't wait to see this off the needle and all spread out.
Squish too.
And I did leave 2 skeins of the making tracks, and you can see I just barely went into the second skein.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have a lot left over.
Yeah.
I used the Winterberry colorway along with Peg's Sabbath Tart Farm. It was so pretty. It was a lot of fun to knit. I'm going to have a
Is
wild
the KAL
amount
still going?
The KAL is still going. I think the KAL goes up until Rhinebeck. It's a pretty long window, so you can always hop in. Yep.
Yeah. Very nice.
And yeah, it's
very
really
pretty.
And we actually met Ona, who is the designer, Ona Waltodin. Bolton. I'm saying her name wrong. I'm sure of it. I'm so sorry about that. I know Ona's correct. But she's the designer of this beautiful pattern, and she actually stopped by the shop, which is wonderful.
I missed her.
She's a local Vermonter.
Ah, yeah, this is beautiful and very interesting, I'm sure, to knit.
Yeah, so it's all done in like short row sections.
So you're only ever, oh my gosh.
So you're only ever knitting. There's no decreases or increases.
Yeah.
Like it's just.
What fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Is there a name to this sort of knitting? I don't know either.
I don't know, but all her patterns have this design. She's got some beautiful mittens too that I'm tempted to, but sweater first.
Okay, well that's nice. Very nice. I am knitting and I'm using my, I can't remember what this one's called, but I love this one. It is our Harris Tweed zippered pouch. And the plan for this was going to be West Yorkshire Spinners, because I have it here. And I'm sorry, I think I've shown this before. Hold on. I just love these in combination. So I will be knitting West Yorkshire Spinners birds in this colorway and keeping them in this bag.
Yeah, so that colorway is the J colorway.
It's gorgeous, in my opinion. So, but what I had to do this weekend was a quick knit.
Oh, yes!
And it's this colorway, which I think is colorway number 3 in our choice of
I think it's colorway 2.
No.
Is it 3? Did I give you the wrong ones?
And I was looking at it and I'm going, that's not the one that made me go, ooh!
That's
so
really
I found
funny.
it. Yeah, so I found most of this at home. I just didn't have FC6 at home.
That's so funny. I thought I gave you the right. We'll have to
I took it and I was like, okay, yeah, that's pink. Okay. But actually this is purple and with some pinky bits in it. But isn't it gorgeous? So Maggie chose out this colorway for the flower, the Fortrose.
Yeah.
Yes, Flowers of Fortrose hat. And when I first saw this, I'm like, I have to knit these. So I'm knitting this up in the mittens. And can you just be like, oh my God. I think that's adorable in terms of coloring. So yes, these are the mittens, which I think are coming to the shop very soon.
Very, very soon. Our goal is September 1st.
And I'm literally on the last round of flowers and I'll do the shaping. And this is knitted with Jamieson Smith 2-ply. We also we're going to have kits in Rama Lamel yarn, which is very soft and lovely. And yeah, so.
I think too, we can also talk about how Emma, and we can go to Emma in just a minute, but Emma has put together a course for us that is an intro to colorwork course featuring the Flowers of Fortrose pattern. Yes. And she walks you through each of the steps. So if you're new to colorwork and want to knit along with somebody delightful like Emma, who's very experienced at colorwork, and a good teacher. Takes you through the whole process of knitting hat and the key steps, and then knitting the mitten and the key steps. Yes.
So this is the example used in the course, but the course is itself for colorwork. So intro to colorwork and everything you need to get going, and it's really a good place to start is with a hat. And then when you knit the hat, you want to knit the mitten. Very quick, round and round and round, very quick. I knitted this in a bit like, a day overall, so I find
colorwork very addictive. It's very potato chippy.
It is, especially when you have symmetry in the pattern. Some really beautiful ones don't have symmetry, and so you have to really know look at the chart. But when you have symmetry, like this half of the flower matches this half of the flower and it's a mirror, you get very you know what you're doing. So I'm in love with this color and I can't wait till I have a pair. So I'm banging these out before the KAL starts, I think. Yes, so really exciting. Knitting is so exciting. Whoever thought that knitting was for, I don't know, grannies and stuff, which it is. But
it is, but grannies are awesome.
Grannies are awesome. They're like knitting ninjas.
So I think we should take a moment and actually go watch Emma's segment. And we'll see you
on the other side.
Hi everyone. My name's Emma, if we haven't met, and I live in Baltimore. And I come to you about once a month to do a little Shopcast segment. Last month I was actually on the whole Shopcast, which is really exciting and was like really fun. I like recording here, but it's more fun to record with Corinne and Maggie. in New Hampshire, but we can't have that every week because I don't live there. But yeah, I come to you about once a month. And if you want to see more of me, you can always watch my show Tiny Desk Knitting on YouTube, which I try to do weekly, but I took a very long break this summer. So I'm back at it. But I am here to talk today about a few things. The first one is my sweater for the KAL, and it's cast on day today. So when you're watching this, I'm casting on, which is really exciting. So got my, well, like this little tote bag. On the back we've got, if you go out, take your knitting, which is my mantra. And, oh, I've got a bunch of stuff in here. More things than I thought. It's one of those things where like sometimes you just like throw a bunch of stuff in a bag and you're like, I don't really know what's in here, but I am gonna be knitting the super simple summer sweater, say that 5 times fast, by Joji Locatelli. And that is actually knitted, I think she designed it for like Mungo or something that was a wool cotton blend, or she did a sample of it in Mungo or something like that, but it's a worsted weight sweater, but it is meant to be knitted with the wool cotton blend. And if you've never seen it, it's just a top-down circular yoke sweater with big wide stripes. And so I am gonna knit this sweater in a different yarn and that's a different weight. So I'm gonna just talk a little bit about how I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna be using Sayona yarn by WoolDreamers, which is a wool cotton blend, 50-50, just like Mungo, which is a Retrosario Rosa Primar yarn. And this is 50% Manchega and Merino, sorry, Marie says Marina because this is in Spanish. And then 50% what I assume is cotton. I can't read Spanish, but I'm told this is a wool cotton blend and it feels like a wool cotton blend. So it's made by WoolDreamers, as I said. It's 240 yards and 50 grams, which makes it a pretty lightweight fingering yarn. So that's very different from worsted. So I've got this purple color, which is called Fratelli, which is probably, I'm pronouncing it like an Italian would pronounce it. But I don't speak Spanish or Italian really, so I shouldn't really probably attempt that at all. But, and then this doesn't have a ball band, so I assume it's just like the natural color, but this is fun. I like this combination. I thought it was a little bit unexpected for me. I just think this purple heathering is really cool. I don't know if you can see that, but it's really cool. There's some like pinkish in it. There's like a little bit of like darker gray coming through. There's a little bit of veg matter, which is always fun. I love to pick out the veg matter. Corinne and I are alike in this. Anyway, so I'm gonna make the super simple summer sweater at a much smaller, tighter gauge. Probably not that much tighter because you can definitely have a wool cotton sweater in a fingering weight yarn, not at a super tight gauge. And in fact, if you did that, it would probably hurt your hands quite a lot because cotton does not have the spring that wool does. So you have to knit with tighter tension if you're knitting on smaller needles. And because cotton doesn't, like I just said, have the spring that wool does, it will be harder on your hand when you are wrapping the yarn around the needle. So to pull, you're gonna have to, like, it's not gonna spring back, which makes it, or spring out, which is what makes wool easier to knit with than anything that doesn't spring, like alpaca or cotton or silk. So that is one of the other reasons why I would knit this at a slightly looser gauge. My guess is that, I haven't swatched yet, but I'm gonna swatch obviously in advance of the KAL. My guess is that I'm gonna be knitting at between 20 and 22 stitches over 4 inches, rather than like, I don't know, a normal fingering weight gauge for a sweater would be like between 24 and 28, unless you were knitting Fair Isle, which would be even tighter, like 30, 32 stitches over 4 inches. But yeah, I'm gonna knit it a bit looser. So how do you change the gauge of a sweater that is being knit at a different gauge? So you can't just do this with every sweater because some constructions will not really allow you to have proportions that work this way, because there's too many things. Like if you have like set-in sleeves or saddle shoulders or something, like that's a little bit more tricky because there's other things that you have to consider in the fit that are proportionally differently sized depending on, you know, the size of the that you're knitting and the pattern, and depending on how bodies are shaped, basically. So the more variables and shaping things in the pattern, the more likely it is that that might not work so well. But with a circular yoke top-down sweater, not really a problem, because the only thing you're changing, I mean, you're measuring everything by length. So the width just needs to be adjusted so to fit your proper bust measurement. Like based on like all you have to do is basically knit a bigger size. So how do you do that? Well, okay. You just, basically what you need to do is you need to find out what your gauge is. So let's say I'm knitting at a gauge of 20 stitches over 4 inches or 22 stitches over 4 inches. That's like 5 stitches per inch or 5.5 stitches per inch. So I need to decide how big around the full bust I want my sweater with positive ease or negative ease. Like think about that. So like, let's say I wanted like a 38-inch bust. Okay. So that means I would be knitting, I would want 38 inches, and let's say I'm getting 5.5 stitches per inch. All I do is multiply 38 by 5.5. I don't know what that is off the top of my head. But whatever that is. And then you want to find the body, like in the sweater, there will be like somewhere in the pattern will be like, and for the like this part of the body, after you separate the sleeves and the body, you know, you'll have this many stitches for the body. You want to just find the number in the pattern that's closest to that number. Go above or below based on whether you'd like a little bit less positive ease or regardless ease, positive or negative, or more ease. And that's kind of like, for me, I would say that's a hack for me. If I'm going to do that, that's what I will do for this, is that I will purchase the pattern for the super simple summer sweater. I will do a gauge swatch, and then I'll do that math and say, okay, like what size do I need to knit based on my gauge and the total body stitches in this part of the body, because I want that to be between 36 and 38 inches for me. So that's all you got to do. It sounds a little complicated, and without like looking at the math, sometimes it's not super obvious, like how do I translate that into another sweater? But it's something that the more you knit and the more you understand your gauge and gauge math and like how this works, the more you're going to just kind of instinctively understand, okay, that's how that works. So my advice is to just knit a lot of sweaters to pattern, and eventually you're just going to be like, oh, what if I did that? And you'll start making pattern adjustments, and then all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh, sure, I can change the gauge of this and that. And you get really comfortable with it, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I am excited to knit this sweater. I think it's going to be a really fun, like kind of piece for like fall. I live in Baltimore, so it's warm for a lot of the like spring and the fall, but like sometimes it gets a little chilly, but it's not really chilly enough to have like a full wool sweater. So I wear my vanilla sweaters, like my fingering weight vanilla sweaters, all the time because they're at a loose gauge. So they're not like too tight and like really warm. But I think this will just be like a nice piece. Or if I'm in New England at home in the summer, because I'm from Vermont, you know, it gets chilly at night. And so having like a sweater that's like a lot of cotton, not too much wool, lightweight, all that, I think it'll be just like really comfortable. And I don't have anything in like big stripes like these two colors. I think it'll be fun. So that's exciting. So yeah, that's going to be my my knit along sweater. And I will be casting on my channel, Tiny Desk Knitting. So you're watching this hopefully on Friday, around Friday, next Tuesday, like the Tuesday following this, you can watch Tiny Desk Knitting and watch me cast on. So, yeah, fun. Let's talk about a couple of other things briefly. So I wanted to show my Set-A-Stall cardigan, which I showed on the Shopcast last month, and the body was done and I'd cut the sleeve steeks open and done the collar, but I hadn't done the sleeves yet. So this is the first sleeve, which is done. So I had initially not done this patterning at the top of the sleeve. I'd just gone straight into the lace patterning, and then I realized I didn't like that, so I ripped it out. And yeah, so I changed it, and I like it so much more now. And it's not an exact like replica of any of the other Colorwork bands. It's just like I picked and chose. So like I did this band here, and then for this one I did this one. But then for this I did the same thing that I did on the beginning of the body. And then I did match, this is the hem of the sweater, and I matched the sleeve to the hem. So I did do that. And so, fun fact, the body is blocked and the sleeve is not. And wow, the body, you probably can't see super well because it's easier to see if you like really up close and touching this, but the body is a lot softer. The stitches have bloomed more. This is like, feels still a little bit crunchy. Yeah, if you're wondering, there's no pattern for this. I made it up. And I used the book Traditional Scandinavian Knitting by Sheila McGregor to get my charts. But yeah, I would recommend like knitting some Fair Isle jumpers or cardigans if you want to understand the construction. And then, yeah, I just kind of inserted patterns wherever I liked them, or, you know, as I liked them from the book. And yeah, so I'm really excited. I will be wearing this at Rhinebeck, hopefully, because I started the second sleeve a couple days ago, and I've now managed to make it to the lice patterning. So yeah, I will be doing this as my social knitting now, because I'm at the kind of part where it's a little bit boring if I'm just hanging out by myself, knitting lice patterns. But if you're wondering, here's an up close shot. This yarn is, the charcoal is 81 by Jamieson Smith, 2-ply jumper weight. It's on a cone. If you've watched the Shopcast before, you've heard Maggie and me separately and together talking about how much we love this color. It's like a charcoal. It's really not a true black. It's gorgeous. And there are cones at the Woolly Thistle, so you can get one if you want. And then the white, or it's like a light gray. This is Saralma Lamel Garn in colorway 12, which has been my favorite color of the summer, like my favorite light colored neutral of the summer. So yeah, here. So yeah, I changed the white for most of the yoke as the background, and then I went back to the black to give it a little bit more just closure at the top, you know, come back to the original. But yeah, so hopefully by the next month, this will be done. I mean, hopefully like next week it will be done. I need to redo the collar because it's too loose around the like bottom part, and I need to pick up fewer stitches. Then I just need to pick up the button band after I finish the second sleeve. So not much left. I'm excited that it's almost done. And one last thing, it's gonna be quick, I promise. I have done a lot of spinning, much like Maggie and Caitlin. I am a spinner, and I have really been enjoying my electric spinner, which I have like an electric eel wheel. It's very inexpensive if you're looking to get into spinning, but you're not sure if you like it, and you can control a lot of things, which is good for a new spinner. I have a wheel too, but I don't use it as much just because I like to spin on the couch. So I've been working on a spin of Shetland that I dyed myself. So this is just some white Shetland fiber that I dyed using acid dyes on my stove, or probably more like my burner, more likely, in like a low immersion, you know, like lasagna pan. And this was the first bobbin, and the second bobbin is the same fiber, it's Shetland, but it's a slightly different combination of colors. So there's some teal. This one has some like darker blue, kind of fades into the darker blue. And then there's like this kind of purpley lilac bluish color at this end. So I did split these bobbins so that it would be a fractal spin, because the braids were about the same length, and like weight. But they're not the same. They're not the same colors, but there's about the same amount of shifting of colors. This one's just like light blue, medium blue, and purple. Like there's kind of like a periwinkle here, the medium kind of transition. So I split this one into 4 pieces, and this one I just split into 2 pieces, and I'm doing a fractal. And there's, I don't know, there were like 90 grams of each. So it's gonna be a big chunker of a skein. It'll be like almost a 200 gram skein. I'm spinning this to a little bit thicker than my normal default yarn. I just basically turned up the tension knob on the wheel to like make it come out of my hands faster, to just make the singles a little thicker. So I think this is gonna come out to like a sport weight. Shetland tends to be kind of puffy when you wash it, so it might be more like the weight, it might be like wrapping at kind of a DK weight when I'm done. Hopefully it'll just, it'll be pretty, and I will make something with Colorwork, of course, because of who I am as a person. So yeah, that's all I have today. So thanks for watching, and I'm really excited that, for the knit along, and I hope everyone's getting really excited and casting on while they're watching this. And I will see you, if you can see me again, on Tiny Desk Knitting anytime you want. But otherwise, I'll see you next month. So thanks for watching. Bye.
Isn't Emma a delight? So yes, Emma is the teacher that will be on the Colorwork course if you want to take on with that. But Emma is great, and I love her, what you call it, sweater.
Her Settestall sweater?
Settestall.
Amazing.
I love the addition of the pattern, and it's just right. So well done, Emma. You're amazing. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. What else do we have coming soon? Should we mention the holiday?
Yes, because I think so soon as in today, back in the shop.
So Rambler is back in the shop today, which is super exciting. This is our third run of our own yarn, made at Battenkill Fibers Mill in New York. So it's made with Dorset, Romney and Corriedale, and it's a lovely yarn. And I spent my Shawl KAL knitting the Halligarth shawl and it took 3 skeins of Rambler because I knit the bigger size, which I always want to do for some reason.
Well, the bigger size is cozy.
Well, it is. You really get it around you. And I can't wait to be wearing this. Look at that color, first of all. I love that color. I love all the colors in it. And then it's 100% lace. So I'm very, very proud.
And the yarn just really popped.
It does, like, and it's staying open.
Yeah, it's holding open really nicely.
Yeah, and it's got an applied border. So Maggie, I think we're putting kits together, or we did put kits together for this.
Yeah, so you'll find kits together in all the Rambler colors.
Yeah, 3 skeins.
They will include a toe and your yarn. You'll need to get the pattern directly from Gudrun.
I hope you're inspired that this is a shawl worth knitting. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and lace is not my friend typically. I want to knit more lace though. I'm definitely becoming more lace curious, especially having knit this. And I managed to do this without stitch markers usually, and there's no shame in this. I place stitch markers after every repeat. But for some reason, I think just you very quickly saw where your repeat start and end points were, that you didn't need a bunch of stitch markers, and you start with 1 stitch at the bottom and then you just grow and grow and grow. And I cannot wait to wear this. This is going to be,
although like Corinne said, if you find you just want the stitch markers, sometimes I just want them in there because then at a quick glance you know when you're off track. Yes,
exactly. And I love the applied border. There are so many mistakes in this too that it's actually very forgiving. I don't think you can point them out. If you do,
I don't see any, and I'm sitting pretty close.
Yeah, they're there. They're definitely,
that's okay.
There's some there. I see one. But we always are so much more critical of our own mistakes than anybody else. I mean, if they're really trying to spot mistakes in your knitting, they're standing too close, number 1, and number 2. What up? So so I feel like it's a very forgiving shawl. See, look, I'll point one out right here. There's more of a bigger
I find
triangle.
that fascinating that I am always pointing out to people. They'll be like, oh, what a beautiful thing. And I'll be like, oh, there's a mistake right here.
I know. Like, what is that a female womanly thing to be so...
I don't know.
Self-critical. I don't know. And is it or
self-deprecating?
Self-deprecating.
Like, don't just compliment me because look here, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
I don't think anybody who knows me was gonna think that I'm perfect.
See, you just did it again. She just did it again. For the record, Maggie is perfect.
I wasn't perfect. Always room for improvement, but.
But anyway, you just proved the fact.
I know.
So yes.
I can't help it. So if you want to grab that basket, we can show all the Rambler colors because they are all in stock and available now.
Yes. Okie dokie. Happy days. So
yeah. So Rambler, any of our Rambler kits will also be restocked, including the Moongate Socks kit.
I have not smelled this yet.
I know. It is. It's really good.
So this is the natural undyed color, and oh my gosh, the hand on this is so good.
I know, it's so good. Lupin, which is a lovely purple.
Yes. And this is Aster, which is also a purpley mauvey color. Try and get the color for you.
Winter Sky. I love this one.
I knit socks in that somewhere.
Oh, your Agatha.
Yeah. Lake, which is a deep blue, just like the New Hampshire lakes.
And Blue Spruce. I love this color.
That's a good color. I'm knitting with that actually right now, with mohair.
Oh.
Holding a strand of mohair from Rama Plum. This is Pine, a lovely green. All these colors are inspired by New Hampshire fauna and flora.
This one's quite popular. It is our Golden Fern.
Yes, that sold out quickly last time. This is Lichen, which I love. Pale green.
And the red is called Trillium. This is what Corinne knit her.
Yes,
shawl
because, you know, this is a sock yarn. It's 100% wool though, and it's got a nice high twist on it to help strengthen it for socks. But as that shawl shows you, it's not just for socks.
Yeah, no. I mean, anything you would use a 3-ply or a fingering weight yarn, an all wool fingering weight yarn.
Yes. I think it would do good
lots of
in
options.
textured knitting too because of that 3-ply.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So isn't that a lovely basket of woolly gorgeousness?
Mm-hmm.
Just enjoy.
So this is the Agatha socks knit in Winter Sky, and you can see the stitch definition there.
Yeah, and we
The
have yarn
patterns.
sets for that. This is my pattern that I did back in 2016, and it's still going strong.
It is. We have a number of Rambler kits available now, including Agatha, the Emma Woodhouse socks designed by Emma Barnaby, the
Moongate, which is a
Virginia
Colorwork
Sattler
sock.
Rhymer. We have a new Virginia Sattler Rhymer kit coming in today too.
Oh,
Well, actually, it came out earlier this week.
Right.
So it is for transatlantic socks.
yes.
Which is a Colorwork sock pattern using Exmoor, John Arbon's
Oh,
Exmoor,
fantastic.
which is available in the shop
That became available.
on Tuesday. So
Yes, so we've been waiting a long time for this.
Mm-hmm.
We finally have a nice big order from John Arbon. So Exmoor definitely is well loved by everyone here.
yeah,
It's a great sock yarn, and here's a sock, Winter Frost by This Handmade Life.
Yeah.
Olivia.
thought I'd bring just so you could see the fabric. It's so lovely.
It's so lovely. Who knitted this? Did you knit this?
No, I think my sister knit that sample for us.
Marie, you're knitting. It's so good. Nice even stitches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I like the heel on it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely. So
Yeah.
shall we show some colors?
Sure, because there are
There's
actually
new
a few new
colours.
colors. Yeah, that we've
Let's show
not
the new
had
colors
before.
first. So this one here is Flashes. Ooh, and it's a nice bright blue.
And this one is Peggles, which is a lovely red. It's definitely like a warmer, orangier red.
It's called Peggles.
Peggles.
Okay, like pebbles, but with G's.
Peggles.
Yeah. Oh, pink. Fairy thimble. Oh my gosh. Had me at fairy
I
thimble
know. So cute.
and pink.
I think those were the three new colors.
Okay, so
And then we have Blue, which is a lovely deep purple.
it's like a dark grape color.
Mhm.
A good favorite is Mackerel Sky. This lovely sort of bright
I
tealy
love
blue.
this orange quick theme.
This is their Mizzle, which is their natural. Gorgeous. I love their label too.
Mm-hmm. So we showed the pink. This is Drumble.
I think this is a new one.
Oh, maybe.
Fuzz Pig.
Yes.
Fuzz Pig is a sort of brownie gold.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Um,
Have we shown
Bibblebug. Can't go wrong with
one of my
Bibblebug.
favorite
Mhm.
mauvey colors? Whortleberry is a nice blue. So, you know, no shortage of colors
Right.
here.
Hamel. Lovely green.
And this is
Dimity.
Dimity. The labels are
Yes.
not overly well printed.
Yeah.
Very lovely though.
This one's
Odd Me
Odd Me
Dod.
Dod.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's not blustering clouds. I think it's bulging clouds, something cloud. It's a nice
Bouldering cloud.
bouldering
I
cloud.
think it's bouldering.
And this is a dyed grey.
Bell Heather, which is what the sample was knit in.
And Aggie,
Aggie.
which is a nice sort of acid green. Well, not as acid green as Odd Me Dod, but
So
yeah,
good.
lovely.
Lots of beautiful colors.
Lots of beautiful colors. You guys have been waiting a long time for this, so it's here.
Yeah, in the shop now. I don't have a sample of the Transatlantic, but we can put that up here
Yes.
if you want the kit for that, or the yarn set from that.
I love having baskets of yarn.
And I think after our discussion about Rambler and being a 3-ply, I think this is a good time to take you to
Yes,
Kelsey.
yes.
You're not going to want to miss this conversation. It's a
We'll
good
see
one.
you on the other side.
Hi, it's Kelsey again. I'm just jumping in to talk about a couple of terminology things and a couple of yarn construction things that I get asked a lot when I get emails from customers. And I think it would help a lot of people be more confident in the substitutions that you're doing between yarns, between a pattern yarn and a yarn maybe that the woolly thistle carries, or just using a different yarn than a pattern calls for. So the first thing is that there are plies and there are plies, if that makes sense. There are plies that actually form a yarn. So the ply is one strand that gets twisted with other plies to form a yarn. And there's ply as in a thickness, and that's where it gets a little bit tricky. So ply as in the yarn structure, there's usually single ply, which is just a twisted ply. That's something like, what do I have here? This is Einband. It's a Letlopi lace weight. You can't, or it's a Lopi lace weight. You can't see it very well. But the same with Letlopi, which I don't actually have next to me. It's just a twist, just a slight twist in the whole thing. There aren't sort of two going around each other. Two ply, something like, this is Realm of Vams. Vams. It is a two ply. See, you can pull it apart. There are two strings that it's made up of. But this is a thick yarn. This is about a worsted to Aran weight yarn, but it's a two ply construction. This is actually Rama Strickagarn, so it's a thinner yarn than Vams, but if I can find the end that I just pulled apart, here it is. It actually is made up of three plies. If I can fiddle around with this enough for you to see it. There they are. Three plies. So you see how those plies are much thinner than the plies in Vams, but there's three of them. And I'll talk about why that matters in a second for yarn substitution purposes. But so usually the plies in construction doesn't necessarily imply thickness. And I'll show you where that's a little bit different. I made this little homemade sign. I hope this comes out the right way in the video. But in the green is sort of UK and Australian. It's actually a lot more in Australia, I found. They use sort of 1 ply to 10 ply or even 12 ply to indicate thickness. It may not actually be that many plies in construction, but that's the thickness that it is. This is sort of related, if anyone's a weaver, to the weaving weights that you see, like you see 3-2 or 8-2 or something. It is one number has to do with the thickness of the ply, and the other number has to do with how many plies there are. So it's telling you both pieces of information in the description of the yarn. That's not usually the case for knitting yarns. But in Australia and the UK, it does sort of work that way a bit. On the right, I've put sort of an approximate equivalent in words. So in the UK, you'll hear these as words as well, but this is what we primarily hear in the US. So 1 ply, 2 ply are very light. They're cobweb to lace. 4 ply is approximately our fingering weight. It can be a little bit thicker than fingering, so fingering to sport sometimes. 8 ply is usually a DK to worsted. And 10 ply is when you end up more in the Aran weight. And I wanted to show you this because I wanted to make a little sign, but also to show you about, well, actually I'll come back to this later. So this is UK thickness designations instead of structure designations versus the US equivalents. So something you might notice is 2 ply and 4 ply can get tricky sometimes because, for example, Jamieson Smith, let me grab a little ball of it. Jamieson Smith is called 2 ply jumper weight. 2 ply is the construction. It's a 2 ply yarn like Vams is, but much thinner. 4 ply would be the thickness in the UK. So it's a 2 ply construction, but somewhere in the 4 ply range of actual thickness. So that's where it gets a little bit funny. The other thing that I want to talk about with plies and what it means for substitution is what it does to the structure of the yarn. So I made some more little signs. This is my drawing of a 2 ply yarn. So 1 ply, 2 plies, kind of different sizes because that's just, you know, yarn can be, the 2 plies don't always have to be exactly the same. And if you see the green hatch marks, that's how much extra space there is in a square. And if you think of squares, you know, squares will stack next to each other pretty easily. So that's how much, my sort of proxy for how much air there would be between this 2-ply yarn and the next 2-ply yarn in your knitting. So 2-plies are really good for things like lace weight often, because like if this strand is this way and this strand is this way and that strand is that way, you can end up with all these open spaces that are actually wider than just the distance between strand to strand to strand, because you could end up with some of these green areas matching up, if that makes sense. So because it's sort of it's more of an oval shape, if you think about drawing a circle around this, the 2-ply makes it sort of an oval, and you can't stack ovals very well, especially in yarn where it's twisting. You end up with a lot of open air, and so you end up being able to do a lace weight pretty well with a 2-ply. This is my drawing of a 3-ply. So if you look compared with the 2-ply, there's less green. It's not noticeably less, maybe, but there's definitely less. And the other thing to notice is if you turn the 2-ply, it definitely changes shape. That oval or egg shape turns around. The 3-ply is a lot closer to a circle. Like if you think of a circle all the way around like this, it's a lot closer to a round strand. So something like Strickagarn has a very round, it's a very round yarn. It makes it really good for things like cables, because those round yarns sort of sit on top of each other instead of nesting. Like you can have a 2-ply that ends up nesting on itself and it ends up not popping very well, where the 3-ply will pop out farther. Now if you compare the 3-ply to the 4-ply, there's even less space around the 4-ply. It's depending on how you draw it, and I just sort of freehanded it. It's even closer to a circle, so it's even rounder than normal, or than a 2-ply or even a 3-ply, and you have less air in between them, so they're stacking pretty closely together. You end up getting really good stitch definition, especially in cables, but also in textured stitches and other things like that. And you're starting to edge up towards something that's smooth enough and tight enough together to be more windproof and waterproof. Not to say that 2-plies can't be. Some of this is definitely modified by how fuzzy these plies can be. So like the 2-ply, if those 2 plies are fuzzy, you could end up with a pretty big halo that then interlocks with the next one. Like actually in Jamieson and Smith, that's how the Colorwork really works, is the fuzziness of the 2-ply, and then the stacking of the 2-ply in different directions really makes that cohesive fabric. So the very last one is the 5-ply. And I didn't draw the green hatches all the way to the edge because I'm trying to show that circle. So that circle is actually pretty tight to the size of it's close to the 4-ply, they're fairly similar, but it's pretty tight to the size of the plies themselves. So like Frangipani is a 5-ply, and that makes a really round yarn. Sometimes people will consider 5-ply to end up feeling ropier or rounder, but in something like a Gansey sweater, that's really what you want, is you want that ropey yarn to make a really nice texture and to really pop all of those different textured stitches so you can see them really well. And then also they can be nested really tightly together to make a cohesive and windproof, waterproof fabric. So that's what I wanted to show about these. And so what that really means is when you're looking at something like a DK weight, or you know that your pattern needs a 20 stitches per 4 inches gauge, just the weight is not going to necessarily be enough to give you the same texture as the pattern. So if you're looking at a cabled sweater and it calls for a yarn that might be a 3-ply, 4-ply, 5-ply, you really want to stick with that. You don't want to maybe use a Let Lopey that's a 1-ply, a single, or even a Vams. Here, that's the 2-ply, even though those might be equivalent to your thicker yarn, because you're just not going to get the same fabric in the end. It might be a fabric you really like, but if you're trying to go for the pattern effect, staying to the same number of plies can be really helpful in getting the same effect as the original yarn. So that's some of what I do when I'm suggesting patterns, or not suggesting patterns, suggesting yarns when people want to knit with a pattern, is I look at the original yarn and see first the weight, weight, thickness, gauge, all of those numbers that we all normally look at, but also at the plies to see what kind of structure it might have, because if something's Strickagarn and it's 3 plies, that's going to be a different yarn with a different texture than if these are not equivalent, but like then a Vams that has 2 plies. They're going to come out looking a bit different in how they work. So I'm just going to go back to this for a second to just show you one other thing. When we're talking about subbing yarns, and sometimes I get a question that says, oh, I want to knit this sweater that calls for an Aran weight yarn, but I really love this DK or this something else. This gives you a really rough gauge at what the plies would mean for the thickness. So, and then thickness is roughly for gauge. So something like if you want to knit a fingering weight, if you want to knit fingering weight doubled, you end up a 4-ply becomes an 8-ply. Because the plies are in this system, it's not necessarily in every yarn, and it's not necessarily in the construction of any given particular yarn, but in the labeling system as an equivalent, 2 4-plies equals an 8-ply. So 2 fingerings equals somewhere in the DK worsted range, depending again on all the other things I said. Same thing is true if you're holding a mohair with anything. So you might be adding 1 or 2 plies equivalent, depending on what mohair you're using, to something else. So, you know, you're holding a 2-ply lace weight mohair, 2-ply equivalent, again, not the construction, with an 8-ply worsted, you're somewhere in the Aran range for gauge. So some of these you can add up to kind of get an idea of, okay, if I add I don't know what, if you wanted to do 2 lace weights and a fingering to get a DK worsted, I think that would work. If you wanted to add 8 cobweb levels together to get a DK worsted, I think that would work. It's also something to think about when, say, you're knitting something and you wanted to do 2 fingering weights, so somewhere in the DK worsted range, but the original yarn that's DK worsted is a 2-ply, and instead you're using 2 strands of 2-ply, you've now got something closer to a 4-ply. It's not going to be exactly right because it's not evenly twisted together, but using a 2-ply fingering doubled will not give you another 2-ply. It will give you something closer to the 4-ply effect. So it's a lot of complicated stuff. I hope that my little drawings and my chart have helped a little bit. If you ever have questions, if you ever need help, absolutely email us at info@thewoollythistle.com and we can help you with any of your yarn substitution questions. But I just wanted to share some of these, my little drawings, 2, 3, 4-ply, to enable you to think about yarn and think about the construction of yarn and how it will affect your pattern. So something like doing a lace pattern in a 2-ply would be great, but you can also do it in a 4-ply. It'll just be a sort of rounder, ropier, and less, this will be a more ethereal lace, this will be a more sort of structured lace because it's a rounder thing. So generally speaking, the more plies you go up, the rounder your yarn will be. Singles is a little bit different because it's fairly round because it's just 1-ply twisted. It's not quite the same thing. But also these equivalents to clear up some confusion about UK and Australian terminology versus American terminology. So I hope that was helpful. Again, if you have any questions, let us know, but happy knitting.
Thank you, Kelsey. That was really informative and a good visual for those of us who like to see those diagrams. Very, very good of you to do that, Kelsey. Thank you. And I hope that you guys find that helpful out there. So we were talking about John Arbon's Exmoor, so we just want to show.
Yeah, I think we also got in a restock of Appledore.
Yep.
Which we hadn't had in a little while.
Oh, it's so pretty.
This one, it is so pretty.
Let's talk about it, and shall we show? I mean, oh my gosh. So this is 40% Devon Closewood, 40% Romney, 20% Exmoor Blueface. So very, very local to John's mill in Devon. And it's a worsted mill. It's a very small mill, worsted spun. So they're working with tops. And look at what they're able to do.
The way they blend colors is just really gorgeous.
They call it a melange, I think.
Nice.
So this is what that is, I think. Yeah, really amazing stuff. This is very popular when we have it.
Yeah. I think the next, like for me, like you can, so you've got the close wool and the Romney, which offhand, they're a slightly longer. Romney can be fairly long in staple length. And so I think like getting that drape.
Yes.
Thing,
So I'm thinking cardigans and shawls. This would be really, really good for, you know, you would get that drape. And of course, depending what gauge you knit it at, you could make it tighter as well.
Yeah.
Is this a DK?
Yes.
I think it's a DK.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, double knit.
Yep.
Okay.
It says it right on the label.
Yeah.
Well,
and I know that the names are adorable.
so shall we show the colors?
Yes.
This one here is Dufflin or Duffin, and it's beautiful.
I love this one. This one's Pig Snout. It's so pretty.
Good names.
Mm-hmm.
This here is Billy Down Pippin. These must be all references to local Devon. I'm thinking this is lovely.
Well, and I think last time we talked about this, I think they were named for apple breeds.
Oh, apple breeds. Okay.
Yeah. Winter Stubbard, which is a gray with little flecks of blue. So pretty.
Is this slack or slock?
Slack McGirdle.
Slack McGirdle. That's an apple I want.
Right.
There we go.
Hoary Morning. HOA. Just really beautiful.
Oh, this is really amazing. Look at the colors in that quench. This one is, and it does. It quenches your thirst for amazing colors. Oh, beautiful.
Ellis Bitter. So pretty.
Wimple Wonder. And it's sort of a grey with yellow through it. Maybe a bit of blue. No, a bit of some kind of brown.
It's like a goldy brown gray. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really pretty. Tom Put.
Love that. And this here, I mean, they're never short of colors. Sweet Coppin, which is a coppery pinky tone. Very nice.
This one is Yeovil Sour. I'm going to hold it next to the Tom Put just so you can see the two
And
together.
Billy Down Pippin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would make a lovely gradient.
It
I
would.
love this one.
This is so pretty. Sheep's Nose. And it's blue with oatmeal-y colors, and it's really lovely. Soft.
This one's Dabinette, and it's a gray, but I feel like it's got little, like very subtle pops of pinkish color. It smells good, doesn't it?
This is amazing. Just what the doctor ordered. Okay, and Fairmaid, which is a beautiful natural cream.
And Payhamberry, which is a lovely dark gray.
Yeah. Really nice, really nice. So these are in the shop already.
These are in the shop already. You can get them. I just think it's a fun way to explore yarns with different breeds.
Yeah.
And see how they feel and wear.
Exactly. And, you know, appreciating that something feels one way in the hand, it behaves a certain way, and then, you know, knitting your swatch and maybe wearing it inside your bra strap is a good way to see how it feels, you know, against your skin, and then looking to see how it behaves once knitted and washed up. You know, you can be on your own exploration, your own journey, which is fantastic, because we don't do enough good things for ourselves, or, you know, learning at our own pace. And, you know, keep a notebook and put your swatches in there, keep the labels of the yarn in there and your notes about it. You really can have a whole magical education that's self-directed.
I think too, like for me, using some of the breeds that are lesser known, at least to me, it also keeps a demand for them going.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Right, what's next, my dear?
Let's show the Devonia. We haven't talked about Devonia in a while, and with this restock of
John Arbon.
I think Devonia is always good to talk about.
So this is a 4-ply, which is
a fingering weight.
A fingering weight. This is a Broken Flower, which is this gorgeous soft pink pudding kind of color. I love it. I
knit a sweater using Devonia. I meant to bring it. But
yes. What did you knit with it again?
I used Ann Budd's book and just knit a circular yoke sweater with it. And I used Nightshade, which is this color. I'll bring it next time. It's very pretty. It is absolutely lovely.
I got so far with my ranunculus in this, so this is great for that pattern.
Was that involved in your cawing? Did you make a decision about it?
I couldn't find it.
Whoops.
So decision
Somewhere.
made. Yeah, that it was ridiculous because I just kept making the most stupid mistakes. Nothing
Yeah.
to do with the pattern or the yarn.
Now that you've mastered lace, you should go back.
Yeah, but it wasn't even the lace. It was where I put the arms. They were like in the wrong
They were
place.
askew.
Yes, they were very askew and not in a way I could rescue. So, and then I had to pull it out. But I don't think I actually pulled it all out. I think I pulled out to the yoke. The yoke was done.
Sometimes you're better off just ripping all the way back.
I
and
know.
Going.
I know. Yeah. So, anywho.
Sugar Snap, which is a lovely, like, it looks like a nice spring pea color.
Burnished Bronze, which is so glowy. It's redonks. Yeah.
Holland Gold. I love this color.
Ocean Rain. Lovely.
Sandbar.
Amber Blaze, which is a good name for this.
The natural is called Devonia Cream. So pretty.
Sage Sprig, and I think that's a really good sagey eucalyptus color right here.
This one is Ivy Leaf, which is a lovely dark green.
They're so shiny.
Lots of luster.
Yeah, this is Snow Ash, which is a soft blue.
And just to, I don't think we read the label. So this is made with 50% Exmoor Blue Face, 30% Blue Face Luster, and 20% Wensleydale. So there's your
Long
luster.
wools, yeah, and luster, yeah. Knitted at a
But
fingering.
quite cozy.
Very nice. This one is Pebble Brook. What's yours?
This one is called Dark Skies.
Yeah, really lovely. Lovely. So yes, if you're interested in John Arbon, stock up now because now we have it. And it takes quite a while to replenish.
And this is one that I would be mindful of yardage. Make sure, because harder to get the same
dye lot. Yes, this really sort of made to order, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. So we are just teeming with wonderful things right now.
Yes.
So we have a lot to show you. So the 12 Days of Christmas box is here and ready to start shipping out. Not until November. We're making you wait until November. But these are on pre-order now, and you get 12 daily surprises for the countdown to Christmas or the countdown after Christmas, however you want to do it.
So you can either do it like a traditional 12 days of Christmas, you open one starting on Christmas Day and going forward, or you can treat it like an advent calendar in the run-up.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful box. It goes in the mail just like this, and then you can throw it right under your tree.
Yeah, so this is our second year doing the 12 Days of Christmas box.
They sell out.
This year, the box, what we are telling you, it is a mystery. You won't know what you're getting on which day.
Right.
We will tell you that the featured yarn this year is Wensleydale Sheep Shop's tweed yarn, which are these gorgeous little cakes.
Yes.
I absolutely love this yarn.
So in your 12 Days of Christmas box, you will get a random selection of 6 of these cute as anything little cakes from the Wensleydale Sheep Shop, which is in England, and they focus and specialize in Wensleydale wools.
Yes.
Which is just, I think that's my hair on there. Lots of different colors.
Yeah. So you'll get 6 different colors.
Perfect for doing some color work, putting in your color work stash.
And then the box also includes 6 other fun knitterly things.
Yes. Yes. They're so cute.
They are so cute. I really like these.
Yeah, and there's some natural colors here. This is a nice sort of charcoal gray, which is good.
Yes. This one, I don't remember, Mallard, I think it's called. It's so good. They have beautiful colors.
Espresso. That looks natural.
I know. It's so pretty. I like this.
They're just enough to put in your hand like that. They're fairly tightly wound, I think, to make them quite small.
Yeah, and I think that they individually cake them. Like these are just a labor of love.
Yes, so we're very, very excited. These are the perfect things to put in your 12 Days of Christmas box and be surprised and delighted by the colors you get.
Yes.
So those are in the shop now and are selling. So if that interests you, or you have a knitter friend, or you have a partner who never knows what to get you in terms of, I know you're a knitter, but I don't know what to get you, this might be the perfect gift. So send them a little email saying, this is what I want, because that's a great way to get what you want.
It really is.
Yes. What else do we have, Maggie?
So we already mentioned our Latvian mittens have been topped up. Those have been selling really, really well.
Really well. Shall we have a quick?
Yeah, why don't we show at least a few?
Yeah.
Because there are lots of different options, and we have kits that range with, some are 2-color kits, some are 3-color kits, and there's 1 or 2 that are 4-color kits.
Oh my gosh.
It's all right.
I'm just going to show them.
There we go.
Oh. All right.
So we have 9 colorways here. I didn't show the 10th one since it sold out.
Okay.
So.
All right. So, and yes. So this is one. I'm not sure what they're called.
So I think they numbered on.
This
like
is number
names,
5.
So that one's number 5.
Now this is one that is not symmetrical, as you can see, but very pretty.
This one is number 3. Really beautiful. And yes.
Number 1, and this one is symmetrical, as you can see. Love that. Very traditional.
Yeah. Number 7.
Oh, this
Really pretty.
This one here is number 10. Has anyone been to Paris where you see the Space Invaders on the walls? This reminds me of that.
Not made it to Paris yet.
Oh my gosh. Let's go.
One day.
I love it there.
Let's hope. Number 4. I love this one. I think this one's pretty popular.
The pansies, yes. This one is a great one. Number 9. Black and white, traditional, really pretty.
And then this one is number 8.
And the only one we haven't this one here, right?
Oh yeah, I didn't show number 2, which is still in
The
stock.
one I'm
That's
knitting.
the one that's Corinne is
Yeah.
knitting, and then number 6 sold out, so we didn't show that one.
Yeah, it sold out probably that first day they went on sale.
Which was sort of a surprise. Like, it's always fun to see, like, we'll restock something, and something that was really popular the last time maybe didn't.
Yeah, and then
It's
something
just,
else.
you never know.
We do our best. We do our best,
Yeah.
don't we? To have what you want.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Speaking of having what you want, we do still have some Woolly Mammoth Sort Plays textiles.
At least at time of recording, we do.
Yes.
This
so,
is done super well, but we were able to get a goodly portion of this. This is limited edition, and it is from Emma at the Woolly Mammoth, and it's a Swartbles textile blend of natural
So
wool.
good.
And you have been shopping for this, so thank you for getting it here. But we do have a little bit left. It won't last long, I'm quite sure.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a novelty for us to actually be able to talk about it and still have it in the shop. So take advantage of that. It doesn't always happen. So yes, we have some of that, and it's lovely. It's very rustic. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and I think that Emma's these limited edition lines support farmers.
Yes. Yes.
Small
She works.
makers. She works with them to put together these limited edition
Yeah,
lines.
this is from wool that she sourced right there in Northern Ireland, and then she worked with a mill in West Wales. So yes, she's working with the farmers directly.
Yeah.
A bit like Julie up there in the Black Isle of Scotland, and I just had a lovely interview with her that will be coming down the pike. So yeah,
Great.
yeah, we love supporting.
We do.
Yes.
We do. We have a number of books right now on pre-order. We mentioned Kate Davies' new book, Davaar, which looks fantastic.
Yes.
Has a couple Twisted Stitches designs too, so for you fellow Sark fans,
Yes.
you'll want to take a look at that. Lina's Observations. Thank you if you pre-ordered that. It is now available, and so if you pre-ordered, we'll be shipping. You can still pick up your copy today in the shop.
Yeah.
There's a new embroidery on your
knits
knits
or something.
Yep, that's embroidery on your knits. That's what I wrote. It's on pre-order now. It looks amazing.
It's getting a lot of very positive feedback. So yes, you guys are really interested in that, as we all are. I think.
Yeah, I think too, especially like if you like knitting vanilla sweaters and then you want to embroider.
You could do something around. Oh yeah.
So many brilliant ideas.
Yes.
And that's on pre-order now. It'll launch at the end of September. I feel like I'm missing one pre-order.
Well, we have Pom Pom Quarterly.
New issue of Pom Pom.
Yeah, that's on pre-order, and Murit is on pre-order.
Yes.
Murit from Scotland.
And Lina 18 is
on
also
pre-order. There's a lot of pre-orders, but what's coming? Do we know anything that's coming down the pike for sure? Shetland Wool Week.
Shetland Wool Week. Yes. We got word that it's coming. I don't have a specific date for it.
But it's coming to the Woolly Thistle. So
Yes,
we will
it
have
is
it
coming.
and you can order it from us and we will just ship it out to you as soon as it gets here.
Yeah. So
which is nice.
To know what that one, some of these items drop very quickly. So it's always good to get on our email list.
For sure.
So that you know.
You're the first to know when you are on our email list, and we are very good about letting you know so that you can make your choice and be there at the front of the line when things are going to go fast. Yes, though we're really trying hard to not have that be always the case. We, we're trying to have enough so that anyone who wants it can get it. So
yeah, for us that is actually the really nice thing about the pre-orders is that you're able to really, if you pre-order, you're able to get it.
Yeah. Exactly. We can order that many.
Issue. Yeah. It makes ordering easier for us and makes it easier to make the item available for you.
Yep. What else, Maggie?
I'm trying to see what else.
We might just want to. So we have shown you our zippered pouches that we designed with Studio Tolsta, and they made them in India.
This zipper is so satisfying.
I know. It's a nice heavy weight
zipper. It is
zipper.
a lovely zipper.
And this is a good size for, a sock project or the start of a shawl, something like that.
Yes.
Or mittens, like I'm using mine for right now. This tweed is hand woven in Harris, which is an island in the Outer Hebrides of Scotland. It's an ancient tradition and they are keeping it alive by making these wonderful things with Harris tweed, and only if it's genuine Harris tweed do you get the seal there that proves that it is in fact from Harris. So very wonderful. I've been to Harris. I went with my mum and my sister and my nephew when he was like 8 months old. We stayed a week on Harris and it's an amazing place. I need to get back there. I really loved it. And you take a long ferry boat out there. I love all the islands of Scotland are just, each has their own unique flavor, and yes, it's really good. Okay, so anyway, this is another herringbone. It's blue with some checks. Have we sold out of any? We have.
We have sold out of one or two. That's right. Like there were some plaids that sold out, so they are not shown here.
Yes.
We do have this pink check.
This pink check, which I love, and is going with so many good knits right now.
It has pink, purple. Whoops.
Sorry.
We have this lovely deep purple, which does match our large Harris tweed tote.
Right, which is also in the shop. So if you want to have, big and small together, in the Woolly Thistle colorway, that's that one.
And if matching is your thing.
Yeah. This is a very popular one. This is another herringbone in a lovely tealy and green color.
I love the herringbone. There's something so traditional.
There is, isn't there?
Really
but then
pretty.
They punch it up with these colors and it's like, wow.
Yeah, and then this lovely green.
This I love. Popular. This I love. It's just, this is traditional and just very neutral and I love.
Yeah, so good.
Did
so
we
these
show the
are
yellow,
still
the
available,
golden yellow?
and then the golden yellow.
Yes, this is one of my favorites too because you will always find it.
Oh, that's true.
So yes, that's what we have with these. These are still in the shop, which is great. If that so interests you.
There's so many good
price
in the
point
shop right now. We also did have a restock of WoolDreamers.
Yes.
And their line, so all their lines are currently available.
So that's Sauna,
that we carry.
Mota,
Sauna, Mota.
Manchalope.
We didn't restock the Dehesa, so
yeah.
But the Manchalope,
yeah,
in stock.
Very popular. There, that yarn line is doing really great things.
Yeah,
so.
the Manchalope, very
Unspun.
popular. Continues to be very popular, and so with that being back in stock, the Winter Woods sweater from Jessica McDonald is back in stock, and the Miles shirt jacket from Osetta,
and we love her too. Yes, so great stuff.
My friend Julie stopped by the shop last week, and she's new to non-superwash wools. I've known Julie for a long time. I love Julie. And she purchased the Miles shirt jacket kit.
Did she?
Yeah, oh, like, I've got to try this. So I'm like, let me know how it goes.
So she, and did she get it in the Manchalope?
Yeah.
So that's a very brave sort of leap into the unknown.
I mean, the nice thing is, like, I've swatched with the Manchalope, and holding it double, it was great.
Okay.
I didn't have any issue. Holding it single, I think you'd have to be a little bit more, but if you followed the same rules of just sort of unwinding as opposed to tugging, you'd be fine.
Yeah. There's still people out there in the world who have not caught on to how great woolly wools really are.
Yeah.
I had quite the monologue last time about my love of non-superwash yarns, and then the first thing you brought out, which we didn't plan on, that I didn't think about, was a lovely superwash blanket, and I fell head over heels for that. So truth of the matter is, you can enjoy all of it.
Yeah. I love yarn.
I love yarn, but the woolly are definitely the better, for sure, for me. And it's just, it's just going to last and not pill and get better and better.
There's something about the woollier wools, the non-superwash wools, that feels closer. It feels unprocessed to me.
Less processed, minimally processed.
And I think too, like that, it allows me to explore a lot of the different breeds of sheep.
Yeah,
and I get excited about things like John Arbon, where they're using breeds that you just don't see used as ubiquitously as merino. Right. I like merino. There's a place for merino for sure. But there's so many sheep out there and so many different breeds, and they're all slightly different.
That's right. And they all behave differently and get spun differently. And then, you add your difference to it depending on the needle size and your gauge and what you do with it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. And, if merino is your jam and you sort of accidentally got this far into this episode, we don't have a lot of merino, but we do have a little bit of gateway.
But I think too, like, if you love merino, like, I remember the first time I discovered, like, the first wool yarn I ever knit with that had any wool was Woolies, which was the Lion Brand's Woolies. Yeah. And it was really the gateway yarn for me, because I could tell that the thing that made that yarn different was the wool. So then I just fell down a woolly rabbit hole.
Yeah. But I was just thinking about Mota by WoolDreamers, that it has Spanish merino in it, which I think feels different from other merinos. It's got a very dry, sort of almost crisp or velvety texture even when you knit it up. I think
too, WoolDreamers is a woolen spun mill.
Which is my favorite.
So I think that's part of it, that you can, it's not just the wool, it's how
it's prepared.
And then how it's spun, and the Mota and the Manchalope, it does feel slightly woollier, even though it's still quite soft.
So if you're a merino aficionado and that's what you want to knit with, I would suggest you start looking at those types of yarns, because they've got a foot in each camp, which could be just enough to get you more interested, having knit a whole garment or accessory with that woollier feel in your hand, because so much of it to me is how it feels. It's transportative. It really is.
And some wool, like, not all wool, you don't have to use them all for the same thing. Like some wools you might want to explore or knit with. Maybe you knit an accessory with it, something that doesn't have to be quite at the neckline or where you're most sensitive. Maybe mittens.
Yeah.
Something that can be a little bit more rustic.
Yeah. But if you're interested, be a little thoughtful about that. Maybe do start with mittens. And then work up to the hat sort of thing, or the garment, so that you know that you're going to wear this, because it's so important to wear your knits, or have your recipient wear their knits.
Well, there's our little ending
today. Yes, our ending thought for the episode. Yes. So we're at the end.
I think that's it.
Oh my gosh.
All we have to do is go to Kim and do some hand stretching.
Some lovely breathing and hand exercises, and then there'll be some photos from customers, FOs.
Yes.
And I think, Maggie, all that's left to say is, if you go out,
take your knitting.
Bye-bye.
Hey Woolly Thistlers, it's Kim here with Yoga for Knitters. It's nice to see you again. Before I get into today's class, I just want to get the business end of things out of the way. You can always find me on my website, turninggroundyoga.com. That's where I offer some online and subscription yoga classes. And you can also find me and follow me on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. And here, right here with the Woolly Thistle. My hands are killing me. It's really slowing down my knitting, and I can't figure out why. life. Well, today's class is going to focus on the hands. It's also going to focus on our breath. We're going to put the two things together and make a moving meditation to heal our hands, to calm our minds, and to make sure that we can keep on knitting. Let's get started. We're going to start by sitting on our heels, as long as this feels okay for you. You can also, if it doesn't, sit on a block or something that resembles a block. And that feels okay too. Actually, that feels better. I'm just gonna sit on that block. So the first thing we're going to do is learn the breath. It's very easy. It's a 4-part breath, and my wonderful yoga teacher friend Corey taught me this last week. I've been doing it ever since. It feels good. It calms the mind. It forces you to slow down, and it's such an easy thing to pair movement with. So the breath goes like this. You're going to inhale through the nose, and then at the top of your inhalation, you're going to finish by inhaling through the mouth. Just a little sip. And then you're going to exhale through the nose. And at the end of the exhalation, same thing. Just blow a little bit of extra air out through your lips. Inhale through the nose. Sip in through the mouth. Exhale through the nose. And sip out through the mouth. Just like that. So we're making like a little box of breath. We're not holding, but we're adding that little sip at the top and at the bottom of our breath to slow things down. And Sitali breath, this is a version of Sitali breath, is the same thing where you inhale and exhale through pursed lips, like you're drinking through a straw, and that's has a very cooling and calming effect for the body. So we are going to apply that to our box breath today. Now that you have the breath work under control, we're going to get into the hands. This is what hurts. We're going to start with just your right pointer finger. Grab a hold of that finger with your left hand, and we're going to inhale our 2-part breath through the nose and then through the mouth. Exhale our 2-part breath through the nose and the mouth while we stretch that pointer finger back. Let's go ahead and start that now. Inhale and sip. Exhale and sip. Good. Switching to the middle finger. Pulling it back. Gentle stretch through the front of the hand. Inhale and sip. Exhale and sip. Ring finger next. Inhale through the nose. Finish with a sip. Exhale through the nose. Finish with a sip. Pinky finger, inhale through the nose. Finish with a sip. Exhale through the nose. Finish with a sip. And the thumb. Inhale through the nose. Finish with a sip. Exhale through the nose. Finish with a sip. Good. Shake it out. Place your hands on your lap. Close your eyes and notice how differently they feel. Your first hand may feel tingly, alive, more mobile, quicker, lighter. And your other hand, the one that you haven't stretched yet, might just feel like a big clump of clay. So let's do the other side. Starting with the pointer finger, we'll bend the finger back into a nice gentle stretch and then inhale through the nose. Sip of air at the top. Exhale through the nose. Blow the air out at the bottom. Switching to the pointer finger. Inhale. Sip. Exhale. Sip. Ring finger, inhale. Finish with a little sip. Exhale. Finish with a sip. Pinky finger, inhale. And sip. Exhale. And sip. Thumb, inhale. And sip. Exhale. And sip. Good. Shake the hand out. Place both hands on your lap. Close your eyes and notice how they feel. Wonderful. We've got one more. Place both hands together and you're going to, the little mound, the mound of skin right underneath your pointer finger, pointer fingers, you're going to press them together. Really press them together. And then press the palms together all the way through. But your main point of contact is the mound below your pointer finger. So everything's pressing together. There's a moderate amount of strength involved here. And then pull the palms down until they get to the point where they almost separate, but not quite. Good. I'm going to start here. Inhale through the nose. Sip. Exhale through the nose. Sit. And then rotate the hands down until you get to a place of sweet discomfort, but not pain. We never want anything to hurt. We want it to stretch and to open and to receive, but not hurt. Inhale. Sit. Exhale. And sip. Roll the hands up, inhale. And sip. Roll the hands down, exhale. And sip. Roll the hands up, inhale. And sip. Roll the hands down, exhale. And sip. Inhale, rolling up. And sip. Exhale, down. And sip. Do two more in your own pace. Perfect. Release the hands. Take all of that stress away. Shake it out. All of that work that was happening in the muscles from the shoulders down the arms into the hands, gone. Shake it away. Place the hands on your thighs. Close your eyes. And notice how they feel. Hopefully you've got an openness, a lightness, and a tingling sensation from the hands all the way up into the elbows. And hopefully that's given you a little bit more space and quickness and light so that you can get back to your knitting. Thanks so much for practicing with me today, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.